So once your babies start talking or pushing the bottle out with their tongue, they're pretty much done. When they do finish, or close to finish, I usually just kind of tip the bottle over to see if they want that last little bit that's left. It seems like they're pretty much done. I don't want to overfeed them, even though it is the American way, so I'll just take the bottles out, notice how much is left, and subtract that from the 260 milliliters that was left in the bottle. And now we want to clean up our babies. We don't want that milk mustache. So it'll be nice and clean, so clean around their face and pretty much everywhere. And now it's burping time. Babies and kids are pretty much only impressed by burps and farting. So as a dad, especially of 2 baby girls, this is your opportunity to validate your alpha dad status. Your burp is kind of like your alpha dad roar. And now they'll maybe want to mimic you since they're so impressed by your burpiness. There are 2 ways to burp your baby. There's the old school way, and I find that this way works really well with babies at this size. It's over the shoulder, and you could kind of use your head as sort of like a headlock to prevent baby from turning his or her head toward you and giving you a sort of blast of baby burp breath. So all you do is lightly tap on the back and kind of, there you go, coax the burps to come up. And sometimes it takes, you know, a little while for it to happen, and sometimes I have more than one, as this is the case. But you don't really have to hit that hard or rub that hard. It works pretty gently and naturally. The other way that you can burp your baby is the old school. Well, this is actually the baby way, the infant way. When they were really little, I did it this way, where you just kind of lead them forward and have them kind of look up so there's a clear air passageway. See, she probably has a little gas, which is why she's fidgety. And just kind of, again, just tap on her back and coax up those burps. One of the reasons why they may not have as many burps, actually, is because we use those Avent bottles, which have special nipples in them. Oh, here we go.
Nice.
Perfect. They have special nipples which enable airflow to come out the top, so your baby doesn't get as much gas. We're actually up to the number 3 nipple now, which enables them to drink faster. The number is how many holes they actually put on the top. So, I mean, I almost was tempted just to put little needle holes on the top, but these holes are smaller. But you start with the number 3 nipple pretty much when I think they're like like maybe 4 months old, I think it's supposed to be. And there's 1, 2, 3, and level 4, and that's the final level. You might wonder if there's an easier way. Since I have twins, couldn't there be a way that I don't have to hold the bottles the entire time? And in fact, actually there is. There's something that's called the Podee bottle, which is basically a bottle with a straw with a nipple on the end. And we tried it. I think we actually tried it a little late, maybe, because what happens is the babies, they're fully fed right now, so they're probably not too interested in eating. But the babies would get it up to about here, and then it would go back down again. Believe it or not, when the babies are younger, they have more of a sucking reflex, and this would be a piece of cake for them. Okay, so now we're done, and all I need to do is kind of get out of this position. As you see, I had my legs tucked under here for support. What we need to do is sort of a Indiana Jones maneuver. Much like in Indiana Jones, you need to hold this up and replace it in perfectly. Otherwise, the babies are going to roll down, and that could be trouble. So I just slip out gracefully, as I sort of did. And now we want to basically just indicate how much the babies drank. So we go over here to our handy-dandy chart, where we have the day and date, the time. If your baby is breastfed, you probably want to write down which breast you use. Then you write in the bottle volume, which kind of formula. Sometimes we switch it up depending on what's coming out the other side. And here is, you write down if it's a wet diaper or number 2, just to keep track, especially if you have twins, because you want to know what's going on with your babies. And now it's time to wash the bottles and make some formula. So let's go into the kitchen. So we wash our bottles. I use this Munchkin scrubber, which works really well and doesn't get smelly too quickly. The soap, they probably sell baby safe soap. I think any dish detergent soap is probably fine. You're going to wash it out anyway. Most of the time I clean it the lazy way, but sometimes I pull out this little extra piece. What's really great about this brush, this Munchkin brush, which I'll put a link for down in the descriptions, is that it has this little piece on the bottom, so you can also get right into the nipple and scrub it from the inside if you want to. There you go. All those little nooks and crannies. And then just wash it off. So after you've cleaned your bottles, I find this is a good time to make your next batch of formula while the babies are digesting. So we use the Dr. Brown's Natural Flow Mixer. This is really great at helping you to avoid bubbles. You basically need to fill as much as whatever your baby or babies is drinking. In our case, we use about 30 milliliters. Okay.
Ounces.
Ounces. I'll never get that right. And so 30 equals 15 of these cups. So we just put in 15. Then you see you have this little swivel top. You just lock it in place, like so. And then just take this little doohickey here and just pump it up and down. And it mixes it without putting the bubbles in, which is really great because then there'll be less gas for babies. It's easy to mix. Done, and then we just pour it in the bottles. Now, when your baby's little, you might want to boil the water first. It's up to you if you want to do that. We use the Brita, which we feel takes out a lot of the metals and stuff that might be in the water. If you're worried about it taking out the fluoride, it actually doesn't take out fluoride. So the fluoride is still in there. If you want something that does take out fluoride, because there's some issues about that, then you should probably use a different kind of filter. You'll have to check online to see which ones actually do take out the fluoride. But here we go. So I'm going to fill this up for the next batch. And we're using the 260. So I poured our bottles for our next feeding, so we're good to go. And I'll pour some more and then make another batch in here for the 2 feedings after that. And that's it. So I hope you found this video informative. If you'd like more baby videos, please subscribe to the Layman's Answers on YouTube, or for some more general information about life, I have my Layman blog, and you could see that at thelaymansanswers.com.